Welcome back to another episode of the unchARTed podcast, where we talk about art and the artists behind it. Today is no different, and I have with me the polytab queen herself. So,
I'm Emida Roller, and you are watching unchARTed podcast.
unchARTed, oh, this is unchARTed. Before we get into anything, can you introduce yourself and just let them know who you are?
Yes, Emida Roller, and I am a muralist, a mural artist, we call it. And I moved to Connecticut about a little over 2 years ago from Madison, Wisconsin. And I did a lot of my mural work out there. And I moved there because of my kids. They go to school on the East Coast, and so I wanted to be closer to them.
Okay.
I moved in the middle of the shutdown.
Oh.
So didn't know anybody, came to Connecticut and tried to find my way around.
Yep.
I figured I had to find ways to make friends and connect with other artists.
Yep.
Somebody told me about the art guild, so I joined the art guild, and then the art guild told me about city murals and the MLK murals that were going to be going around, being painted around Connecticut.
Okay.
And they said, well, we want one in Putnam because we have a muralist. So
Yeah.
that's how I got connected with city murals and
Okay.
started getting work and made new friends, got to know a lot of new artists, learn from them, and passing on what I do also to them.
Okay. All right. Nice.
So this was my first MLK 39 mural with City Murals and the Rise Up group. I did this about a year and a few months ago. Each community decides how they want their MLK 39 mural to look like, and they chose not to put the past, but to show the future. And these are the kids of Southington and what they do and what they love to do.
Okay.
So the theme here is joy. So these kids are doing what they do, and you can tell they're all having fun doing it. And the parents who sent me the photos of the kids wanted to show what the kids do well, and looking to the future, I'm bringing joy rather than looking at the past and looking at all the negatives that happened to our people.
Yep.
But looking forward and see what we can do and what our kids can do to make the future even better.
Okay.
When I drove by, I turned around the corner here,
Yep.
I smiled. Even me as the muralist,
Yeah.
it brought that to me. And so I'm hoping that that's what it brings to the community here.
Yep. Okay.
The lady, Mary, she passed away last year. Just before we did the unveiling, she passed away.
Oh,
She
wow.
started this.
Okay.
And I put her quote at the bottom. It said, it starts with an idea and the community makes it happen. And that's exactly what happened.
Okay.
But this was my very first one, so it's one of my, it has something, it's dear to me because it was a struggle getting through it, but we got it done.
Yep.
And the unveiling was amazing. Everybody showed up.
Yeah.
It was a party. It was
Yeah.
so good.
Nice.
So this is special to me.
Nice.
It turned out to be really fantastic.
Nice.
I'm
Nice.
really, really proud of the community work. And I say the mural is important. It's beautiful. Every time you drive by it or walk by it, it gives to you. You get something out of it.
Yep.
But for me, I say the process of getting there is as important as this beautiful work.
Yes.
Because bringing the community together to work together, come up with ideas, plan it, paint with me, and celebrate with me
Yep.
after we're all done.
Yeah.
I think that process is imperative to pull the community in.
For sure.
So it's as important. And it balances it out. Because everybody who was a part of it remembers exactly what section they painted.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. All right. So, when did you become the polytab queen?
That's very fun. And when I came to Connecticut, I ordered my first polytab just by myself, working myself.
Yep.
And I felt like in a year, less than 14 months, I've gone through 2 bills of polytab. So polytab,
Yep.
250 yards
Okay.
per order.
So like a big roll. Got you.
I went through it in like a little over a year.
Yeah. Wow.
2.
Wow. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this is crazy. I've become the polytab queen.
Yeah.
That's how it all started. And I didn't realize how much polytab I was using. I love the versatility, what I can do with it, where I can take it, what I can work in my studio, I can take it to school. I can work with 4 different schools on one mural, and none of the students had to even show up on the wall.
Got you. So that's the main thing. That's the main reason why you like it.
Fantastic. I love it, but I can do so much more with it. I can collage it. I can wrap this whole building with polytab, and you don't see the wall at all.
Oh, okay.
I can collage it like I did here, and have the background painted, and then put the polytab on the painted background.
Okay.
And so it's a fantastic. You can do it indoors. You can do it outdoors. The part that has the polytab will last longer. The polytab would do that.
Okay.
The one my favorite one is Dr. J mural in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Okay. So some of the walls, you look at the murals that they've painted, 30 years ago. Some of the walls are crumbling, but those sections that has the polytab,
they're still good. Man. Okay. So how long have you actually been using polytab?
I've been using, the first time I tested it out was in 2014.
Okay.
I had been using canvas and different kind of materials then. But I thought, well, we did some tests. We even went to Philadelphia to go to visit the program because they're using it all the time.
Yeah.
And then we showed them how we were using it, and they were like, wow, that's cool. So we were new, but they had been around for a long time, but they loved the way we were using it. And we brought something, we learned from them, and they picked up some things from us. So it's kind of cool to get that stamp of approval and saying that you guys are doing well, and what you're doing with it is fantastic.
For sure.
And then they come to Connecticut and finding the Rise Up group and seeing what Matt is doing, is like, this is amazing. And then bringing the polytab in and being able to go into the communities and share with them, say, hey, you can be a part of this bigger thing without necessarily being at the wall. You can hold a paintbrush, you're good to go. So it's a non-woven material that the textile industry has been using forever.
Okay.
But we artists have hijacked it, I guess.
Got you. All right, so, but that's cool because, like I said, I'm just learning about this. So, tell me about the class that you teach.
So Matt loved what I do with the polytab, and he wanted more artists to learn to use it because he's doing more. He does a lot of the community engagement, and it's a great way to go into communities and paint with them without being at the wall. And sometimes you have, like here now, this is a very busy street. I wouldn't want to bring all the women in the wheelchair or the little kids here. It's too busy. But I can work with the polytab, and then they can see their work on the wall without being at the wall. Sometimes you have some really tricky areas to paint. But if I do all the detailed work somewhere else, and I just come and apply, I can get it done in a day. Glue it up, and I'm out of there. And so that's really cool. So my goal now is to work with people with disability. Go to them wherever they are, in the communities, in their community centers, wherever, in the classroom, and paint murals with them on this polytab. And so I'm teaching other artists to do that, where they can use it for their work, but they can also go into communities and do it. You can go into different juvenile detention, you can go into prisons, you can go into schools, you can go anywhere with that. I mean, I worked with some kids who were in detention. They couldn't get out of that building, but they could produce beautiful work that ended up outside the building. For sure.
So for you've witnessed firsthand how much art can bring communities together. So that's like your mission.
It's important. I mean, at first I was like, I don't want to deal with people. I just want to paint and go home, right? But now I'm just addicted to it. I mean, it doesn't matter where I am. I was in the museum doing some work, and I asked them, like, do you have anybody who want to paint with me? They're like, yeah, we're bringing kids. And so they brought in students, and then that was in Waterbury. And I always feel this need to bring people in.
I mean, I think that's definitely necessary. And that's something that I've been noticing about the artist community. Like, everyone seems to be really supportive. There's not really too much competition, We're
looking out for each other, and we're helping each other. I mean, if I have something that I specialize in and I'm pretty good at, and I know it might help other artists, I'll share it, And I feel like even in sharing it, I'm also learning from other people that I'm
Absolutely.
working with. So
Definitely. So, how did you develop your style over the years?
well, I am this kind of person. I mean, I didn't start off. I didn't go to school to be a painter.
Okay.
I have art education. I have art. I have a master's in metal design.
Okay.
So I'm a 3D artist,
Okay.
right?
All right.
I also have a master's in art education.
Okay.
And I'm very tactile. That means I like to build things. I like to use my hand to do stuff.
Okay.
But then I went through a stage in my life where I had to raise 4 kids.
Oh.
I was home with them.
Yep.
And I thought, what would be easier to do where I'm not pounding and using fire? I went back into painting.
Gotcha.
So I started painting between their schedule. I'll go into to work with builders. I'll paint in parade of homes or paint in people's homes,
Yep.
Businesses, and I'll just do appointments around my kids' schedule.
For sure. Are you still putting videos out on YouTube?
Yeah, I do videos on YouTube, but usually it's my work.
Okay.
So every project,
Yep.
there's like 3 to 5 minute video showing the process. Because people are always asking questions. So how do you do it?
Yep.
So I put on a time lapse, or I do like still feed. So you're painting and you're thinking, oh, I should take a picture.
Yep.
I think I've got that down now. I'm pretty good because I'm painting or working with people. I still remember let me take a picture of them.
Right.
You know, because I have to make that video.
Right.
But I always have a time lapse going. So if I miss anything, at least that time lapse is showing the process.
Got you. Well, I will tell you this. Now that you have it down, that you're like, oh, I have to stop and take a picture.
Mm-hmm.
You're officially a content creator. When you, once you're like, okay, no, I have to stop.
Yes.
I got to do this so I
Yes.
can make the video.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had to start to remember because I would go through a project. I'm like, oh, I only have 5. No, but now it's like I'm like, take a picture, stop, take a picture. You know,
Yeah.
and then I would take a picture. I would do a small video clip because I want to put that together and create. Because before I start the work, I know that I want a video of that.
For sure.
So in my mind, then that way I'm
Got you.
working ahead of myself.
So what are some things that you do in order to find work as a full-time artist?
Okay, well, at first, when I first moved to Connecticut, I like, okay, how am I going to find? Then I found this thing called Thumbtack, where you
Okay.
can put a profile up and they say, oh, I'm a muralist.
Okay.
Hire me to paint or something.
Okay.
So that's what I first started before I discovered city murals. And
Okay.
once I found city murals, I had enough work to keep me busy, so I was off that, you know.
Yeah.
So it's been nice because it's word of mouth also. So I do a job here, and now everybody sees my name on there, and
Right.
all of a sudden people start calling me or go on my website and say, hey, do you do this? I'm like, yeah, and then that's how,
Yeah.
and it's like every week I'm somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten to know Connecticut really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So let me ask you this. How do you choose your colors?
oh, well, it depends on the theme. When they said joy for this, I knew there was going to be blues, yellows, going to be, because, a lot of people find joy in going out into nature. So I figured I would start the background with those colors, like the sunset, but kind of the sunset at the bottom and the sky on the top.
Yep,
But
yep.
I said, that's how that color scheme in the background, and then I can layer the fun, happy kids on top of that.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the theme and what the community is asking for. Then I kind of play around with colors and see what works, you know.
Gotcha. So do you have a favorite color?
Okay, so this is really funny. When I was younger, 'cause I
Yeah.
grew up among 8, great kids running around the house, and I was a tomboy.
Okay.
And there was all ahead of me before me were girls. The boys came after me, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I was the boy before the boys came.
Got you.
So I didn't want to wear any pink or red or anything. I wanted blue.
Okay.
Because that signified male, as a kid. And I told my dad, I was like, I don't buy me any pink clothes. I want blue. So my mom always wanted to buy me the pink, and my dad would say, okay, we'll get her the blue. She just goes through her face and let her get her blue.
Yeah.
And that's how all through my life, some variation of blue, like a bright, uplifting blue, or that calmness that blue creates,
Yeah.
So then I started shifting up to the greens, and now I'm all over the board.
All
I'll
over.
do anything
Yeah.
that will lift, depending on that mood of the day. Today I wore green and I thought, well, there's some blue too, but some days you see me, I'm in reds and orange, you know.
Yeah,
I gotta play with it. It's fun. You're an artist. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm part of the Wall Dogs.
Okay.
And it's an international group of sign painters and muralists, and we just like converge on a little town.
Yeah.
5 days, we'll do like 18 murals.
Oh, wow.
Well, artists from all over the world. So once a year we do that. So my daughter has come with me. We went to Oregon to do that, the Dells. We rode the train for 3 days for adventure.
Yeah.
All the way to Oregon. We painted for 5 days and then we flew back.
Oh, yeah. That sounds really fun, right?
Adventure, what can you say?
Yeah,
It was fun.
I know you said you didn't go to school for art directly.
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I have an MFA, I have a master's in fine and applied arts.
Okay, so
yes,
how does that benefit your career?
Well, I think going to art school is very important. I mean, I started off with the metal design at an undergrad back in Nigeria, and I did my master's here in the States. And I think just learning different techniques, meeting other artists, and then having professors who will like guide you down the path you need to be. It doesn't mean you always end up in that path. You always, you know, but you have the basics. You need to know about artists, about art, and about how to put yourself out there. Sometimes some of that you have to learn after you graduate, how to put yourself out there and make a living out of art. But I think for me, it was just a natural thing to do, was to go into art, because I thought that was what I knew well. And having a dad who was an art professor was just going to be, you know, that was going to be my path. And I always thought I was going to end up being a professor in art and stuff, but I went a different path of, you know, just doing my own thing and enjoying myself and raising a family. Cool. And now that they're, you know, off doing their own thing, I am. I have the time to do what I love. But I think some artists are just, they can be artists and go create their work without necessarily going to school. But for me, I needed to do that.
Gotcha. You mentioned the importance of needing to put yourself out there. What is some advice that you would give to a new artist about putting themselves out there?
Okay, so a good example, I came to Connecticut a little about 2 years ago, and I didn't know anybody. Everything was shut down, right? And I thought, okay, I have to figure out how to tell people what I do. So I just opened my mouth. You know, much easier said than done, though. Much easier said than done. True.
Like,
so people ask you when you introduce yourself, and they say, hey, what do you do? I'm a mural artist. Oh, what does that mean? Pull out my phone.
Gotcha.
Show them what I do. You know, show them my site, my website, or social media stuff. This is what they're like. Oh, you do that? But it's now in their head. So if anybody ever asks them, oh, anything about me, they know that, oh, I met somebody who is a muralist. And that's how I started. That's how I got connected to City Miracle. I opened my mouth and I said what I did. And somebody said, hey, you should do this, you should do that. I'm like, okay. And I just kind of followed their lead. But everywhere I went, I told people what I did, because I know the power of I bring with working with community and painting with them. I can be anywhere and I'll find my way, because I have that belief that it's a great way to bring communities together. When you paint together, when you beautify, whether it's sending message or it's just beautifying, it brings people together.
For sure. So would you say that that's the overall message behind your art? Is maybe not so much what the actual picture says, but the fact that it's bringing people together?
I think both.
Okay.
Because one time you drive by, it's like, oh, that's beautiful. But the people who were involved with it also have something to take on. Say, wait, we were part of that. We brought that together.
Being that you've been in business for yourself for 20 years, can you talk about how there are ups and downs in business? And again, this is for a newer artist, just to understand it's not always going to be to the moon.
When I first started off, like you said, I actually wrote letters out. I sent letters to builders. I put letters to my whole neighborhood to tell them what I was doing. And my husband's a writer, so all I put him to work, like put a letter together for me, and you know, and I mailed stuff out. Didn't mean work came to me right away, But I put it out there.
Okay.
That this is what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to be painting, and I paint murals. I work with builders, and they'll have this parade of homes where they're spec homes.
Okay.
And like thousands of people will come through, and they'll see your work. I put my business card there,
Got you.
and people take my business card. Can you do the same thing in my children's room?
Okay.
And that's how I started.
Got you.
And there were times I would just be very busy, and then all of a sudden, nothing.
Got you.
Nothing. And I go, ooh, I shouldn't let that happen. I should continue putting stuff out there. Like, okay, so when I do work for somebody, I'll send them a thank you letter.
Okay.
And I'll say, because most of my work is word of mouth, can you pass my name on?
Got you.
And yes, they did.
Yeah.
And other moms will pass my name on to another mom, or one business will say, hey, yeah, this lady did this beautiful work. And they'll say it to somebody else. And all of a sudden, I wasn't paying money or time selling myself. People were just passing my name on.
Yeah.
And I always say, I do this. Good example. The Waterbury Montauk Museum asked me to do a mural.
Okay.
Indoor. So I took it a step further. I created a mural that when it's done, it doesn't have to be discarded. It can be installed outside somewhere.
Oh,
and it blew their mind that I thought, so give more.
Got you.
When you do that, you give more, and they will never forget you, because your name will go with that you will give more than they expected of you. And I've always done that. And just to see the joy in their face, like, really, we can put this somewhere else, it will survive outside. I'm like, And so always give more, because that also, people remember you for that, and they realize that you value your work and you take pride in it.
Definitely.
That you always produce good stuff. So that's what I've always done. And I think it's always helped me, I guess, get more work.
Get more, and I guess that would help minimize those downtimes.
Yeah. And even so, I always say at Dixie, if I go into a home or go into a business, after I finish, I always sell them on other things. Like, hey, you know. And then, a few months later, they're like, the idea you had.
Yep. So again, at the end of the day, what that all boils down to is opening your mouth.
Open your mouth. I know sometimes as artists, it's hard for us to do that. I would say about the shy art. I'm like, if I don't open my mouth, then I'm not gonna have a paycheck at the end of the month. So when you love what you do, you can't help but talk about what you do.
Right.
And I think you should open your mouth and talk.
Absolutely. As simple as that sounds. Open your mouth and talk. Like, I hope that doesn't go over your head. So, how can people get in touch with you if they want you to do some work for them?
Well, emidaroller.com.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram as Creative Emida.
Okay.
1 E, Creative Emida. And I'm on Facebook, Wall Designs by Emida Roller. I'm all over the place. Just if you type my name in, Google my name. And I'm all over the place, but yes.
But all of those places are linked to your website, right?
Yeah.
All right. So go to emidaroller.com because we want to get the traffic there. Before we wrap up, do you have anything coming up, any events or anything like that you want to promote?
Yeah, I have a lot. I have two more MLK 39 murals coming up. One in Woodstock and one in Hampton.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be working with students, high school students, between the ages, I think ages 18 and 21. Like they're students who didn't need the extra help.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring murals to them.
Yeah.
Working with them. And then next thing I'm going to be trying to work also with people with disability.
Okay.
So I have a lot of stuff going on, and it's really fun to have a nice variety, so it's not boring.
For sure.
There's always something cool going on. So I'm really excited about that.
All right. Well, I'm definitely going to need the information for the Hampton mural.
Yes.
I will pop up on that one for sure.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you have anything, between now and then, send me the flyer.
I will.
I'll absolutely post it.
I will.
And that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Catch you guys in the next one.